Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Today we are here to talk about lifestyle creep. So lifestyle creep, by definition, is the common pattern of spending more money as you earn more money, getting used to higher levels of luxury and convenience as your new normal. Lifestyle creep typically occurs after someone gets a raise, a new job with a higher income, or even pays off debt. So basically, as more discretionary income becomes available to you, the more likely, the higher risk you run for potentially spending more money than what you maybe previously were spending before that disposable income became available to you. So it doesn't always have to be a result of, having a higher income. Again, it could also be a result of paying off debt or something like that. So if you throw it back to when we were married almost 6 years ago, which happens to be around the same time that I actually started this channel, not really, we were married in November of 2016 and I started the channel in August of 2017. So started the channel about 5 years ago, but either way, even if you throw it back to when we were married and combined our finances, then which is somewhere around the same time where I did start my channel, essentially, you will see that our income hasn't really increased a whole lot. It's just that the way that we are managing our money now, it has, kind of presented itself in a way where we do have more discretionary income. So I want to share with you 5 of the things that we are constantly doing to make sure that we are not participating in lifestyle creep. I think it's safe to say that some things have changed and some things will change. And even bringing home a dog that my husband rescued, that obviously had an impact on our budget. And I would say, when we're talking about dependents and the people that depend on us, is rightfully so that the bigger our household becomes, the more people and pets residing in our household, the more money we'll likely spend. But there are other factors that contribute to lifestyle creep, and those are the factors that we want to make sure that we are shying away from. So one thing that we do is we evaluate our budget, our goals, and our progress on a regular basis. It's really just the art or practice of staying in tune with where we are currently. If we can kind of stay in tune with where we are currently and to kind of evaluate what progress we're making, if any, what progress we still have to go, where our current income is, what our current expenses are, just kind of seeing where we are now, then I feel like we can always kind of stay rooted in where we are now. So a part of evaluating our budget is always making sure that we are also getting the best deal that we can. So regularly I evaluate our cell phone service and our internet and some of those bills to make sure that we're getting the best value at the cheapest price. Because if we are just kind of sitting back and allowing bills to increase and just acting like it's no big deal, then that's money that's being taken from us. Like, we're spending unnecessary money, and we don't want to spend unnecessary money. So that's what it really comes down to, is evaluating our budget to make sure that we're not just spending money recklessly just because we have it. Just because I have $90 for a cell phone bill does not mean I'm trying to pay $90 for a cell phone bill. If I can get by with $60 for our cell phone bill, then that's what we need to do. Just because it's just a practice of making sure that we're not just getting comfortable with this luxurious, we have extra $200 or extra $1,000 this month, so or each month, so we can just accept whatever is being given to us. No, we try to make sure that we're always keeping our bills, our overhead, as low as we possibly can, just so that we're not, getting used to some type of lifestyle that we're really not trying to live. Because I'm not trying to live a life where I'm spending more money on a cell phone bill than what I really need to. So in evaluating our budget and kind of where we currently are, we're able to also evaluate our progress and to evaluate our goals. Another thing that we try to do is save and invest as much as we can. And we try to set our own minimum, which is we like to save/invest as much as we are spending. And I don't really consider housing and stuff like that to be spending, but rather, groceries and eating out and dates and that discretionary income. So I try to make sure we are saving or investing, because that's the season of life that we're in, really, as much as more than the amount that we're just blowing through, basically. Because I feel like if we were to get to a place where we're blowing through more money than what we are putting towards saving and investing, then that's pretty much a telltale sign that we are participating in lifestyle creep. So if we're not doing our saving and investing at the rate that we're doing it, which goes back to number one, in terms of keeping at the forefront what our progress is and what our goals are, then we're probably not actually meeting our goals. And what is life if we are actively working towards not meeting our goals? I feel like life is actively working towards meeting our goals. And so one of our goals, of course, is an early retirement. So if we're blowing through all of our money each and every month, then that would be a telltale sign that we are actively neglecting our goals. We're not making the progress that we set out to make once we got married, or, of course, as the years have gone on, we've kind of changed course a little bit, but that would be a telltale sign that we are actively not meeting our goals and spending way more money than what we ever need to be spending. Another part of that is all of our saving and investing is actually automated. So that really just helps to keep us accountable, and we treat it just like a bill. So a way to kind of know what we have left that we can blow through or spend on whatever we want to spend it on is, do we have enough at the first of the month for our big investment payment to come out? Do we have enough each week for our smaller investment payments to come out automatically? Like, if we have enough in our account and our checking account to meet those goals and to pay those bills, which we call, we automate our savings and investings and we treat them like bills. If we have enough for that, then likely we are not participating in lifestyle creep. So it's just one way to kind of keep us rooted in our goals and meeting our financial goals at the forefront. Oftentimes I feel a little, uneasy, I guess, about these types of topics, because I definitely don't want to come on here and just be always talking about, all the great things that we're doing with our money and all of that. I don't know, it feels a little weird for me. But then on the other hand, I do know that there are people who are probably in our positions who probably can do a little bit more with their money than what they are really doing. And then this can serve as inspiration, which of course, that's what my hope is, that these videos can be inspirational. I definitely don't want to give off a different type of vibe than what I hope to give off, because that other type of vibe does not align with my values and my goals. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to throw that out in the middle of the video, that I realized that I'm on here talking about automatic investing and saving and all of these types of things. And I know that not everybody is in that position right now. And so I do want to be sensitive to that, but also do want to share how, while our income has not drastically changed over the years, how we've been able to still do more with our money with really the same amount of income. That's important to me to be able to share that as well. So anyway, let's move on to number 3. The third thing that we do is we hold each other accountable, mainly my husband holding me accountable. I'm not saying there are things that either of us want that we can't afford necessarily, but what I am saying is, when it comes down to it, like, let's say I wanted a Louis Vuitton bag, which y'all know how I feel about that. It's kind of like I want one, but I don't want to spend the money on it. So like, if somebody gave me one or something, then I would be all here for it. I would have no problem walking around with a Louis Vuitton bag, but I have a slight issue with actually purchasing a bag, even though I know it holds its value and I could sell it and get my money back. It's just something about having something that I don't really need that doesn't sit right with my spirit. So one thing that we do is we hold each other accountable. Like when I was talking about an LV bag. Now, actually my husband was all for it. I don't really know why, because there are some things, like sometimes I'm surprised, I guess, by what he doesn't push back on. So that was a little interesting that he was here for it. But then other things, like the vacuum cleaner that we use all day, every day, that is top-notch, high quality, the Dyson V15 Detect V15, he was looking at me all sideways for it. And of course I had to kind of talk about how this would be an asset and, plead my case. Of course I was gonna go get it anyway, but you gotta, talk to your spouse when you're making a $750 purchase on a vacuum cleaner. But I'm like, this is really gonna be good for us. I really want this, like, can I get it? So he didn't have pushback on that, but he was still side-eyeing me. But we use that every day. This Louis Vuitton bag, I might use that every day, I might not. But this vacuum cleaner we use multiple times a day. And what I always try to ask myself too is, if no one knew that I had X item, would I still have X item? So would I still want X item? If no one ever knew that if no one ever saw the Louis Vuitton bag on my shoulder, the one that I don't have, if no one ever saw that on my shoulder, would I still want it? If no one ever saw my Lexus, which I don't have, would I still want the Lexus? Would I still drive the Lexus? If no one ever saw the inside of my house, which they don't, you guys see a little bit of it, but most people, I mean, we don't have many visitors. If no one saw the inside of my house, would I still want this house? If no one saw what my house looked like on the inside because of the decor or whatever, like, would I still want the decor or the aesthetic that I have? If no one saw what I have, if no one knew I wanted what I wanted, would I still want the item? Would I still want to purchase the item? And I try to always remember that, and that's what I mean when we hold ourselves accountable. Kind of like my husband's truck. We have a third vehicle, and it's just like a little pickup truck, and so, you know, we're always going back and forth about whether to get this truck fixed or not, because we have two running vehicles. So I'm always telling my husband, like, I know the pickup truck would be helpful, but in the grand scheme of things, who knows how much money that's going to cost to replace? And we already have two running vehicles. We have one more vehicle than what we really need. If you ask me, we really only need one vehicle. We could totally survive off of one vehicle. I would drop my husband off and go on to work, which is like, we literally could carpool, and then I could pick him back up after work, and then we don't really go anywhere without the other, unless if we are going, the other one's normally at home. Like if I go do something or whatever, my husband's definitely probably at home, 100% at home, and doesn't need a car. So we already have one more car than what we need. Do we really need this third vehicle replaced? So just having those honest conversations. Obviously in each other we have an accountability partner, so that's easy, but still, if you're alone, you can still ask yourself, what is it, like going inward and asking yourself, what is it about the Mercedes that attracts me to it? Like, what is it that, why do I want this Mercedes? Is it really going to improve the quality of my life, or do I want to flex on other people? You know, like, you really have to ask yourself these types of questions when it comes to money, because we can all find ourselves trying to keep up with the Joneses, if you will, and buying stuff and wasting our money on stuff that we don't even really need. Of course, some people's lives are drastically improved by a Mercedes vehicle. I can't say the same for me. Like, I don't know what a Mercedes would do for me more than what my Toyota is doing for me. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't have an accountability partner in a spouse or someone who lives with you, or an accountability partner, period, you can still ask yourself, would I still want this? What compels me to want this expensive item that I may have to spend, you know, 2 years saving up for it? That's what it comes down to. For my Louis Vuitton bag, is I don't see myself just buying one. I would have to save for it. And what compels me to want this Louis Vuitton bag? Like, what is it going to do for me that my Coach bag that I have, that my friend bought me for Christmas, won't do for me? Or the Coach bag I bought myself from an outlet, or the Michael Kors bag my husband bought for me. You know, these are the types of things that we have to ask ourselves, not really when it comes to money, but my channel is about money, obviously, but just in life in general. Like, what is it that compels us to want to do this? Is this actually going to be a healthy decision? Is this really going to improve the quality of my life? What is it that makes me want to go do this thing, to purchase this thing, or, you know, whatever, whenever I already have the items that I have right now? You know, like, how is this one item going to drastically improve my life? Is it going to drastically improve my life? So in having an accountability partner, we're able to ask ourselves those difficult questions and really just have some dialogue with one another, which is important, because when we set out to be married, we knew we would have combined finances, and we knew that how we operated them and what that looked like would take equal parts of responsibility, you know, on both ends. So me being accountable and my husband being accountable, and us being accountable to one another. So the next thing that we do is avoid debt, or we try to, as much as we possibly can. Y'all know we recently put about half down on our 2021 Toyota, so we have some years to pay it off. We financed some furniture at no interest, so we're paying it off. So I'm not here to tell you that we're debt free, but what I am saying is, when it comes to many of our choices, we try to make sure that we are avoiding debt, because 9 times out of 10, if we're buying a purchase, especially if we're making a purchase, especially something that we really don't need, and we're going into debt for it, then likely we may be participating in lifestyle creep. Like at that point, that's pretty much a telltale sign that we are doing what we really don't need to be doing. We are likely doing something that we have no business doing. If we have to finance, I don't know, let's say, like if we would have financed our above ground swimming pool, that's a telltale sign that we don't need that swimming pool. If we would have financed a trip somewhere, then likely we don't need to be taking that trip. So really, the debt that you have, depending on what those purchases are, and why you hold debt, oftentimes it is telling us that we probably are living above our means and or participating in lifestyle creep. So the final thing that we do, which if you've been around for a while, you probably already know what I'm going to say, and that is practicing gratitude. We try to stay rooted and grounded and humble, if you will, when it comes to where we are in life. Because the fact of the matter is, sure, we have more dreams and aspirations, and we're entitled to those. We're entitled to kind of dictate how we want to live our lives. But the fact of the matter is that, you know, there are definitely, we're definitely in a place where we weren't 4 or 5 years ago. And so I feel like there's value in that, and we need to be mindful of that and be grateful about that and continue to practice gratitude. And I try to remind myself of that every day, all day. It's just who I am as a person. Like, I actually already have a car that works and gets me from A to B and is halfway paid off technically. So what would it do me, like, what is trading my car in for, let's say, a Lexus really going to do for me? You know what I'm saying? Like, those types of things. Like, I already have a house. Working harder, more, longer, or whatever to upgrade my house. Well, why would I need to upgrade my house when I already have a house and we have technically 3 extra bedrooms? One is my husband's man cave, and then we have 2 additional rooms. And of course, you know, we do want kids in the future, but even still, I feel like there definitely could be 5, 6, I mean, even more than 5 or 6, but like 5 or 6 people can surely live here comfortably, and is unlikely that our family will grow beyond 6 people, probably even 5 people. We'll be doing good to even have a family of 3 or 4. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have plenty of space in this home. There's no need for me to pressure myself or my husband to pressure himself, or for us to even really entertain the idea of having any real ambition towards upgrading our home when we already have a home that's brand new, well, 2.5 years old at this point, which is crazy. Everything works. You know, it fits our needs. It's big enough for the 2 of us. So there's no need for us to, you know, break our backs, bend over backwards, trying to upgrade our home. Just those types of things. Like, just reminding ourselves that we actually are in a good place right now, and it would be unwise to put any additional stress on ourselves, especially financially, to achieve, you know, more status, I guess, and that isn't even what aligns with our values and our goals. So just reminding ourselves where we are and how we're in a good spot, and how if we never, I say this all the time, if we never earn $1 more in income, it will be fine. Like, we have plenty of money to live off of, so long as we continue to live within our means. We can go grocery shopping each week. We have enough gas, even with the inflated gas prices. We have enough for gas to get from A to B. Like, we have enough right now. So a lot of people, I feel like, sometimes get in this place where they want more and more and more, and that's all fine and dandy if that's what you want. But if you don't really want more, and you're just kind of doing it to maybe, let's say, because other people are doing it or to keep up with the Joneses, then I consider that to be hustling backwards. Literally, like, working towards a goal that you don't even really want. It just seems like a good idea. It looks good. That's what everybody else is doing. We try to avoid all of that. In the grand scheme of things, this life isn't a competition. I feel like life is hard enough. I'm not in competition with anyone. We're not in competition with anyone. We care 0% about if our next door neighbor upgrades to a BMW, or the one across the street upgrades their Lexus or whatever. Like, that has nothing to do with us. We're okay with where we are, and where we are aligns with our values and our goals, and in doing so, we're able to make the progress that we want to make. I hope that this video was helpful. I just wanted to share some things that we do regularly to stay grounded and to stay rooted in our goals and values, and just how we avoid living a more luxurious lifestyle than what we are actually living. And obviously, some people might say that we are living a more luxurious lifestyle than a lot of other people, and I would agree with that too. Like, we definitely are far in a different place than what we were 5 years ago. So we're definitely living more luxuriously than what we were when we first got married. But also a part of that has been, you know, we've been doing the same stuff this whole time. Like as soon as we got married, we were like, okay, you know, we got combined finances, we have more money now, more disposable income. Like, but what do we want out of life? We want to retire early. So that's what it comes down to. We want to be able to afford college for our child if they want to go to college, or just be able to help them out financially. We don't want to, you know, be hungry, or, you know, not be able to pay our light bill, or to have stress amongst one another or each other, or, you know, individually or collectively about finances and about money. And so it's important to us to make sure that we're continuing to take these steps, I guess is what you would call them, to ensure that we are not participating in lifestyle creep. So again, I hope that this video was helpful. If it was, give it a like, subscribe if you are new, or if you're liking what you're seeing, and I will catch you guys back here in a few days in a new video. Bye guys.